Hello, everybody, and welcome back to some more King's Quest. Today we're doing the fourth one, and this is the copyright protection. We had to type in heart. They give you a different prompt every time, so... And Goku was very excited to do King's Quest 4.
Was I?
I don't know, you were like, oh boy, I don't know anything about this one. Yeah, I don't know, you kind of gave the impression that you seemed interested in this one.
Mm-hmm. They are already splurging on the graphics.
Yeah, they upped to 16 bits, so we got like an extra, like, 200 colors or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I saw someone named Goldstein.
Look, man, sometimes you're gonna be running into people that have all sorts of steens to them.
Right, I really like the drip of the guy on the credits here.
Anyway, so this game takes place immediately after 3, so it's picking right up from where King Graham picked up his old adventuring hat, and we're gonna find out who it gets tossed to. Although, because this is extra graphics, it takes extra long for anybody to do anything, so...
They have to load the actions.
Basically. Well, when suddenly... King Graham dies. Feels bad. And it turns out nobody grabbed the hat, because everyone was too concerned about, King Graham, being 50 years old and dying in the medieval period, so... Which, I think from what I've heard, being 50 in the medieval ages is like, that's like the end of your lifespan, essentially.
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure people were still working back then.
Yeah, but like most people lived on average to 50, I mean. Oh, and just like,
it's one of those averages that people like to toss about, but it's not really a hard and fast rule. I mean, being 50, you would be old, but I guess in the Middle Ages, people's lives were surprisingly event intense. Like, well, at least if you're a noble. If you're a noble in the Middle Ages, by the time you were 50, a lot of stuff had happened already.
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah, at least like 3 monarchies rose and fall.
quite possibly. You were possibly involved in some of their in one of those events. But it is a pretty impressive thing because, like, people, one thing people don't think about, like, what was the Middle Ages and the medievals and the feudalist system. Feudalism was a decentralized form of government. You had, that's why they had the system of suzerainty and vassalage. It's because essentially, like, each noble was responsible for the administration of their land. So you were part of the in a way, like, it wasn't just a title. You were responsible for the region you commanded, and for the governing, for the application of laws, all that thing. So, and when stuff happens in the realm, you were usually the one in charge, or someone who was called upon to take action for that. So, at least for nobility, life was very eventful. Like, you would have done a lot by your 50s.
Yeah, like, as we're showing here, like, Rosella's I guess 18, maybe. Or at least I hope she is if they implemented the jiggle physics last game. But, and already she's off on a major adventure after just being captured by a dragon.
Yeah. I mean, if this game was made in Japan, she could possibly be, she could be maybe 15 in the past game. In the past game.
I thought the age of consent in Japan was 16, and even then there's caveats there where it's like you have to be like 16 as well to be with a 16-year-old. Like you can't be like 45 and a 16.
Yeah, I remember seeing something weird like that. That like from the age of 13 up to 17, you could only have a relationship with someone of that same age range. You could not have like a relationship with someone 18 and above. It's a weird thing. I heard that, but I heard that kind of story, but I never probably double checked. I think they changed. I did hear about Japan changing the laws for consent recently, make it more strict.
Yeah.
And probably less confusing.
Anyway, so for those of you who haven't been listening to the plot, so namely Gok, basically this fairy godmother creature, she lost her talisman and she's dying because the talisman is where all of her magic is. So she's going to tell us that we need to get it back, and at the same time there is a special fruit on this island that if we grab and we can give to King Graham, he'll be fine. So, and I don't know why it takes the game like 10 goddamn minutes to say all that, but there you go. Surprisingly,
I was going to ask, why is the talisman where all of her magic is?
I don't know. I guess it's just one of those
Never explained things.
Never explained things, like why is it that in the Harry Potter universe, Muggles can't be wizards? Like, why is it you have to be born a wizard? And how do you know if someone is born a wizard? Like, do they emanate an aura of magic? Like, how the fuck does that work? That's never explained.
Eugenics.
And what's even more confusing is how can two Muggles produce a wizard? Because that was the whole backstory thing with Hermione.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now we look like a peasant to disguise the fact that we're royalty and that we don't draw too much attention to ourselves.
I was listening and I was watching some point of video about Hungarian folktales, and there is a folktale about like the shepherd that never lies.
The shepherd that never lies, alright.
And at some point two kings make a bet. One of the kings makes a bet that he could get the shepherd to lie. So he disguises himself as a peasant, and when he meets the peasant, he says greeting. He greets the guy, and the shepherd says, "Greetings, my king." How do you know I'm a king? By the way you speak.
Anyway, so the very first thing that happens in this game that kind of aids to my point that this is a very girly game, we run into a unicorn.
Okay. It's a fierce competition considering what the 7th game is. Because that game is basically like a Disney movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to work up the whole getting to play and record 7, and I would say that game is like very like young child like a look for it or feel. But anyway, so we got ourselves a golden ball. We have ourselves a pond with a frog. So I think you know where this is going. And apparently
Is the
we...
frog?
Exactly. So, the frog is smart enough to grab the golden ball that we accidentally dropped into the pond. And here we go. Let's take the frog. And let's kiss it, because why not?
You feel silly and you start hallucinating.
And the prince is angry because we're just a peasant and not a princess. So he gives us his crown.
I thought you were gonna say he gives us the death penalty.
There's no need to take the ball again, but, you know, fuck it. It's golden, so we might as well.
It was just taken advantage of by a peasant. The prince feels outraged.
Anyway, here's another fairy tale already. One of your favorites. It's the Sleeping Beauty. And I'm guessing Gok can't remember the joke that we have with each other.
Or what?
I said that this was Sleeping Beauty.
Oh.
I can't remember if we mentioned it, but I did get Sleeping Beauty and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs confused at one point because
Yes.
Gok and I occasionally watch movies as well, and when we were listing off the movies that we saw, I got the two confused.
So why exactly is she cleaning the house?
Because that's what they did in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Come on.
I'll say this is quite an improvement for animation. I didn't get to see the date. What was the date of the game? Again?
I think it was early 90s. Or maybe late 80s. Somewhere within that range. Also, I hope you like the cutscene of a dwarf coming in to grab some soup. Because we get to see it 7 times.
Oh boy.
But yeah, you do need to clean the room, because afterwards then the cutscene plays, you get to have a meal with the dwarves, and we get an item from it afterwards. So. But again, just like the opening cutscene, it just takes goddamn forever. So anyway, how was your day, Gok?
I was pretty awful.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that it was awful.
Yeah, I just woke up a few minutes before we started because like just a bunch of crap happened after I got from work.
Nah.
Right from work. So
Well, nothing too interesting has happened to me, work-wise anyway. Aside from the fact that, for whatever reason, they're not listing, our trucks, anymore. They're just saying, oh yeah, they're coming. And that's it. They don't list how big they are. So,
giggity.
we have no idea, like, how bad a truck is going to be, until we get there. So, fantastic.
You have no idea how bad it's gonna hurt until you see the size of the thing.
Exactly.
That house has some weird shapes there. It seems like part of their house is like in a tree.
Well, yeah, you didn't see the house when we walked in? It's literally in a
No.
tree.
Yeah, I did not see that. So they just built a house in a giant tree.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that's like half your infrastructure right there. I mean, I wouldn't mind living in a tree. It's just one step of returning back to monkey. And by the way, for those of you wondering, no, you cannot skip this cutscene.
Oh joy. Is it? It's time for the little man to go back to the mine. Like, is
And now we get to watch each one of them leave one by one.
goodness. Were they too tight on the budget to animate all of them living at once?
The only reason I could think of is like a weird memory issue. Like if they had them all leave at once, they might clip into each other or some shit like that. So that was to avoid that. But even still, it's like, good lord. Like, would it have killed you to hit the fast forward?
Yeah. I guess it would.
Anyway, let's clean up after the dwarves here. Because they're working
my
hard in the
lord.
mine, so we might as well do our womanly duties.
It's good to know that despite being part of royalty, she already learned her place.
Alrighty then. And we did all that just so that we could get this pouch here.
Is this pouch essential to the story, or is it just points?
It's essential. Because there's diamonds
goodness.
inside. So, we might as well go back and return the pouch to them. You know, just, we don't want them to lose out on their livelihood, don't you know?
I mean, they are in a mine, so they probably can just dig more.
Well, yeah, once you see this mine too, it's like... It's very much the mine from the... Oops, fell down. It's very much the mine from the Disney Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Look at all these diamonds.
You don't know, they're all diamonds. Some of them might just be quartz.
Yeah, they...
Maybe that's where they mine the quartz to get to build like the tower where her mother was caged in. I think that whenever I think about like the dwarves in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs were loaded as hell. Like they probably there was no reason for them to live in a shack in the forest, because given the amount of gems they were digging, they were like loaded.
Yeah. I mean, diamonds are one of those weird things where it's the price of them is artificially inflated because the family that owns like most of the diamond supply, it's like 70%, and they arbitrarily made diamonds scarce, even though diamonds are like one of the more common minerals or gems that you can find.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, apparently the...
Although more interestingly, like that you might have missed is that one of the dwarves was invisible for a second there.
Anyway, so we returned the pouch, but the dwarves said, you're too honest, so you can keep the pouch, and here, have a lantern as well. So we got a lantern. And we also need to scare
Now
this...
you just gotta find some rope, some bedrolls, and start your D&D adventure.
Exactly. But more importantly, we need to get that worm. And I think from this point, we go to a bathing pool, or very close to it. No, wait, I remember. We go to the old haunted mansion. That's not haunted yet because it's not nighttime. Because that's the other thing. I'm not sure if there's an actual time limit to this game, but they keep insinuating that you only have 24 hours. But I'm not sure if you actually have that much. Like, if there's an actual time limit kind of thing. Oh, and here's something to piss you off. We're in the medieval period and there's Shakespeare books.
Well, we are in the medieval period, and they have paintings, and they have like portraits of like.
I mean, didn't they have paintings in the medieval period, or was it just tapestries?
They had paintings, but I don't know about like that kind of portrait, that specific style of portrait that right there.
Hmm.
But then again, like we were very much talking about the anachronistic nature of medieval fantasy in the past videos. Like, oh, okay, look at this whole room. This whole room looks more like the 1800s than the medieval period. This whole house, really.
Yeah.
I was watching a video today about, and I want, I don't know if I remember sharing with you that video on a guy talking, a guide a guide into Soviet animation.
Not Soviet animation, no. Or if you did, it's been quite a while, and I might have forgotten.
Yeah, and he did more recently a video about Soviet fantasy cinema. And at some point, I think he talks about. I do have actually some some movies from the Soviet era saved to watch. Cause like mainly a lot of fantasy stuff. Like I was watching. Let me see. Uh, it's stuff like a Cachet the Immortal, Vasilisa the Beautiful. I think it's Rustan and Ludmila. Like V, which is a horror movie from the Soviet era. You know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, and I think one of the movies he mentions in both videos is the Snow Queen,
Mm-hmm.
which is I think that is the Hans Christian Andersen story they used as as inspiration for Frozen before they made it worse.
Yeah, well, I think the Ice Queen is oh fuck, was it a Hans? I forget the guy's name, but he also did like the Little Mermaid and like
Hans Christian Andersen.
That's it. It was Hans Christian Andersen. Okay, yeah. But yeah, Disney took a lot of his stories, and actually one of the reasons why I never really liked Disney was because they made his sad stories very like fun and fantastical. Like, if you actually read the original Little Mermaid story, it's a fucking depressing ass story.
Yeah, I'm not so hung up on that.
I'm hung up on that.
Uh,
Anyway, here's Cupid taking.
I'm more hung up on the fact that I just don't find Frozen that interesting that interesting or good of a movie in the first place. Like I'm very annoyed with how they handled the villain in that movie.
What, the fact that they introduced him like 3/4 of the way through and his plan doesn't make a lick of damn sense?
Yeah, it's basically, and how they could have just made a story about understanding familial love and all of that. They didn't need to have a villain in that story. It's completely idiotic that they have a villain. So the twist just harms the movie.
Yeah. Anyway, so we got the Shakespeare book to give it to the minstrel because the minstrel sucked ass at playing the lute, and then we gave the lute to the satyr so we could get his flute. One might ask why the hell we just traded one musical instrument for another one when it probably would have been easier and simpler just to, you know, just have the minstrel play a flute, but whatever. And we gotta watch this fisherman jiggle around with his rod. And then we have to follow him back to his place. But unfortunately, I was a little bit too quick for him. Because he didn't spawn back, so now I have to go back and rewatch the cutscene.
Oh dear.
So I took one step too quick.
You turn around, he just takes a moment to just take a dump in the water.
Alright, we have to wait until he actually gets off the screen. Then we follow him. And I have a feeling the reason for that might have been due to a bit of a timing issue. Because I guess if you get to the door before he does, then that might screw up some programming or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Fisherman's sad because he can't catch any fish or make money, so we're just gonna give him a pouch full of diamonds.
You could trade. You could perhaps trade the rod for a net. That would probably be more effective.
Nah, we'll just trade a pouch of diamonds for the rod, and then we'll teach this fisherman how to actually fish.
By showing that actually he just sucks at his job.
Basically, because here's what we need to do. We tie a worm onto the fishing pole. Hold on. Okay, he doesn't understand tie, so let's put the worm on the fishing pole. Okay, you don't understand fishing pole, so let's put it on the hook then. There we go.
Crunching up your delicate nose.
And then we go fishing.
That's how you get your food, princess. Stop being uppity.
And we actually catch something. So that was the fisherman's problem. He wasn't using bait.
Yeah, you catch the magic pike. Now you have 3 wishes.
No. That was in King's Quest 2 that we caught the magic fish to give us a ride to the island. Now we have to manually swim to the island.
But it didn't give you 3 wishes. 3 wishes.
And there is a reason why we have to swim to this island. It's kind of silly. But we need a peacock feather. There's the peacock. And I think we can watch him waddle around until he drops one. But there's a feather that's just sort of lying around randomly on the beach.
I am more concerned, like, why did you need to catch the fish to have this sequence? Or could you just jump in the water?
Oh, we could have just jumped in the water and just came here. It's just that the fish is along the way, right? So
it's just one thing you can do to get more points.
Well, no, we need to catch the fish. It's just that it's one of those things where it's like to get to this island, it was just along the way to catch the fish at the same time. So, but anyway, this is where the that fairy godmother woman lives. It's a pretty nice castle, and she's got a pet peacock, a pet swan, and a pet parrot. And I think there's another pet something around here as well.
We're just gonna jump from fairy tale to fairy tale here. Like, was that a reference to the Ophelia fairy tale, the one about the swan, the woman, the princess that is turned into a swan?
No, nothing ever happens to the swan. It's just that this fairy godmother just has a lot of exotic birds.
Burbs.
I mean, I like birds as well, but I don't know. I've never been a fan of peacocks. And let's see, I'm just making a quick save here just because... mostly just because there is a chance to run into sharks here, and the sharks are bullshit as fuck because once they appear, they just zoom in on you real quickly, and unless you're like at the edge of the screen, you can't really escape them. And even then, there's no guarantee you can escape them, even if you manage to get off of the screen in time. And also, just to make matters worse, you can't spend too much time swimming, because if you do, then you eventually get tired and drown. So you kind of have to know where you're going when it comes to the whole swimming. But anyway, we got our peacock feather. So now it is time to... actually, I kind of forget what we're doing now. It might be actually time to figure out who the big bad villain is. I think that's where I'm headed. And if you guys didn't read the beginning, oh, there's that unicorn again. So if you guys didn't read the beginning, the amulet that went missing was stolen by the big bad villain of this game. So
Baba Yaga.
no, it wasn't Baba Yaga. It was fuck, what was her name? Loletta, or I think it is.
I'm just throwing names from fairy tales and different folklore that I heard.
Yeah.
I do recall at some point I was chatting with that girl I talked about who was Ukrainian.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned to her something but I think I was asking a question with I was asking some about Russian Slavic folklore, and at some point I mentioned Baba Yaga, and immediately she just cuts me off and Baba Yaga. Like what? And like I think there was like twice that I said Baba Yaga, and she just immediately cuts me off like. To correct my pronunciation, because like you're hearing from people who are like, native English speakers, you never hear Baba Yaga, you just hear Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
Because like it's the tendency in English to put the stress on the first syllables. So and I just stuck with how funny it was that she was, how adamant she was in correcting my pronunciation, that because she I can't recall any other moment where she just cuts me off to correct me like that.
Yeah. Oh, and this troll just randomly appears in this cave and just completely fucked us. Yay.
And that lantern is absolute garbage.
Yeah, but we need it, because if we don't have it, we can't explore this cave.
Yeah,
and also,
like, what is it? What is it good for? Because it illuminates not even like a few feet around her. It creates a ball.
Yeah.
A ball of light that has no effect in the actual screen.
Also, I cannot believe my bad fucking luck of having the troll appear like 10 times in a fucking row. Because I've done a run or two of this game, and mostly because I would screw something up and was a dead man walking. But even then, it was like I never ran into the troll like ever, or if I did, it was like once. And in this run, it was like fucking 10 times. Like Christ almighty. Anyway, so to get through the cave, basically in that first screen you go to the middle, then down immediately, and then this one you kind of do like a Z shape.
A Z.
Yep. Oh, and
Yes,
be careful of this screen, because there is a chasm that the game doesn't warn you about.
because screw you.
Yep. So that's why
We're
we needed...
Sierra, we're assholes.
Yep.
Mm.
So, place board over hole. We're not close enough. Not close. There we go.
I just like how random how just randomly you remind us that you're Canadian. Like we were having a conversation and just out of nowhere you drop the words pop or Zed, and then remind, oh yes, he's from a cursed country.
Anyway, this is where I learned about the wonders of F3, because that's the command that you make to repeat the last command you just did. And then we jump, and then we jump, and then we jump. Oh man, am so glad I managed to figure out the F3 command here. And then we have to place the board, because the jump is a little bit too wide there. And the reason we needed the flute was to play it here to hypnotize the snake so we could get the fruit. And here's another fuck you that Sierra does. You cross this board, but you have to go up at the very end there, because if you kept going forward, you would fall into the swamp and die. And
Lovely.
also, don't forget to take the board, because we needed to get past the chasm.
Mm-hmm. I do enjoy very much the kind of song they play occasionally here. It's very much that early, late 80s, early 90s computer RPG song that they had.
Oh, like...
You hear a lot of that kind of songs in like early computer games.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
RPG
like...
games.
It's the obvious way to get past the snake is to use... to play the snake charming flute kind of thing.
No, I'm talking about the soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
And just like if you see, like if you watch like walkthroughs of early 90s RPG games or any like even like strategy stuff, you see like songs like hear songs like that.
Anyway. Oh, I walked too far down, and so I got hit by the chasm.
Yeah. God, right.
Because...
That's why they couldn't just make. Which is why they couldn't just make the lantern worth. It's worth the hassle.
Basically, I honestly don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know why they couldn't just make it so that way the lantern would actually bright something up. But my only guess is so that they didn't have to color in the troll that roams around here. Alright. And now the game's giving me shit because I'm not close enough to the chasm. Come on. There we go. Alright, and now it's just cross your fingers and hope you don't run into the troll as you get back to the entrance.
And you did not save there after picking the board. So like you're gonna have to do it again if the troll appears.
Yeah, but it's not that big of a deal, because if you're on the other side of the chasm, you're safe from the troll. So it was one of those, I'm not too worried. And besides, the distance to get from the chasm to the entrance is not that far. So it's not like you're wasting that much time. Thankfully, it's one of the few times where it looks like you're about to die, but you don't, so... But now that we got the fruit, now we just need a way back home. So let's go see about that amulet. Oh, it's Lolade. Lolade? I don't know how the fuck you would pronounce that. Is the E silent?
I have no clue. Probably not. Now we're gonna meet the Wicked Witch.
Yeah, the Wicked Witch of the, was it the West or was it the East? I can't remember.
The West. I think the
West.
one from the East is the one that gets crushed by your house when you land in Oz.
Yeah. I should know this. Oz is like my favorite fairy tale. Have you ever read the books? Like the original books?
No, I've just seen the movie.
The movie's good, but the original books I actually do prefer. Mostly because they're like absurdly like dark.
As is tradition.
Yeah, as is tradition, but like just to give like an example of that, the gang was going to the Wicked Witch's castle, and the Wicked Witch tries to stop them by sending out a bunch of crows to like peck them to death, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the Scarecrow was like, here, and he basically takes out all of his hay that's inside of him, or at least enough that was in his legs to hide everyone else. And it's like, hide in the hay, I'll take care of the crows. And as the crows got near him, he would just grab each one and just crack their neck open. And that's how they took care of the crow problem.
Goodness. Good. I do recall like they made a sequel, Return to Oz, in the 80s.
Yeah, that one's actually a lot closer to the books than the original movie was.
Yeah, people were actually kind of surprised with how dark it was, because the original is such a clean and optimistic movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, people were surprised at the dark, and like I think AVGN, he made a script about a possible.
Yeah, the third movie. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
I saw that. It was fucking funny.
Yeah, did he film that or he just made a script?
No, he filmed
And
it,
it's like-
but it's done in like an Aqua Teen Hunger Force sort of style movie where it's like very poorly done in like Photoshop. But like I said, it's
Okay.
fucking funny. It's actually where Shit
Yeah.
Pickle comes from.
I do recall like the idea was to like how do we take this even darker? Dorothy goes to hell.
Yeah, basically.
Bring me the unicorn. Are you a virgin, Mrs. Witch? That's none of your concern.
Anyway, so it turns out the son of the evil fairy here has a crush on us, and because of him, she spared our lives and wants us to prove our innocence by catching a unicorn.
Is he that green guy?
Yeah, he was the green guy who blushed.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, when the evil witch or fairy or whatever you want to call her said, "Oh yeah, my son has taken a fancy to you," he started blushing immediately. But unfortunately, we don't have all the equipment that we need to catch this unicorn. We need a proper...
Are you telling that Rosella's hymen is not intact?
No, it's intact. I assume so. But it's just that the unicorn is very scared of us. So we have the means to tame the unicorn, but we don't have the means to ride the unicorn. That's the problem. So we have to go get that now. And what better place to go get it than the ocean? So, here's a question for you, Gok. Do you remember the beanstalk from the first game?
Oh, it's that kind of joyous moment.
Yeah. You remember how much fun it was to climb? Oh, there's the shark. And yep,
Oh,
it moves too fast and gets us.
oh goodness.
So,
Yeah,
unfortunately, I didn't save.
I do recall like how much joy we had at the beamstalk shenanigans.
Yeah, they decided to
How
do that here. um, but I'll explain it a bit more when we get closer to it.
Yeah, because like I said, Sierra is just like a company staffed entirely by abusive spouses.
Which is strange, considering that Ken and Roberta Williams, who are like the joint founders and owners of Sierra, apparently they're a very lovely couple, or very lovely people in general.
Maybe that's just the image. Like in the when they get home, they just slapping each other viciously every day. Every day. Why does the last save screen there looks like a mouth?
Oh, that's the next part that we're getting to.
Are we meeting Gargantua and Pantagruel?
No, we're meeting Monstro. So the whale appeared, and we have to get sucked up by this whirlpool, and now we're in his mouth. And
now let's find Pinocchio.
Yeah. And this is why we need the peacock feather, so we can tickle the uvula to have him sneeze us out. And it's a good thing that it only sneezes us out and not what it would actually do and projectile vomit us out.
Yeah, it just aggressively vomits, and you come out of the other side covered in puke and fat.
Yeah.
Fish fat, fish oil.
Anyway, this only gives us points, but if you read it, it's a help letter for people who really need help in other Sierra games. Also,
a bit too late, Sierra. A bit too late.
Also, there's a skeleton there, and we can't pick his bones, and we couldn't pick the bones in Lolette's dungeon. We had to only pick a bone from the troll cave. I don't know why it's that specific, but there you go. But anyway, to get to the uvula, we have to climb the tongue. And this is where the fun of the beanstalk comes in, because you have to take a very specific path, or you just fall down.
Oh, goodness. Like,
there is no indication as to what is the correct path. But from what I've looked...
Is at least just a straight line?
Kind of. It's like you start at the very far left, and how you work it is that you kind of just go up and to the right at a diagonal. That's like the best way to do it, I found. Anyway.
Well, wasn't as troublesome as the beanstalk here.
No, but again, at least the beanstalk had like a vague idea of where you could and could not climb. This tongue has no clear indication.
Yeah, that is the nonsense. That's the most nonsense part of it.
Anyway, so now we're washed up on an island. So there is a pelican, and we have a fish. So let's feed the pelican. And there is a glitch here, if you can spot it. Did you see it?
No.
Okay, when we gave the pelican the fish, once it entered his mouth, the fish just continued down the pole that he was on. But anyway, we got
I guess.
a whistle, and this is
Uh,
the main reason why we came to this island. Another fuck you moment from Sierra. We got a golden bridle, so now we can ride the unicorn. And if we didn't do this,
oh,
we'd be a dead man walking.
like all the way to the back. If you didn't get the fish.
Yeah, if we didn't get the fish, we would be a dead man walking because we couldn't get off this island. And we couldn't, we need to come here to get the golden bridle so we could ride the unicorn. And if we don't do that, then we can't complete the game.
Yoy.
Anyway, blowing the whistle summons a dolphin, and unlike most dolphins, this one doesn't immediately sexually assault Rosella. It actually gives us a ride.
Are dolphins known for doing that kind of thing?
Well, sort of. People aren't really aware of that. People incorrectly think sharks are a lot worse than they are, and think dolphins are like the most innocent, lovely creatures in the ocean, when in reality it's the other way around. Sharks are very passive creatures when it comes to humans. Like, there's only like
Most of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
most of them. Some sharks are actually very aggressive. Like I think it
barracudas.
was. Not even that. I think like what's. I don't recall what's the name. I think I don't know if it's like flathead. I'm going by direct translation because I don't know what's the English name. I like flat-haired sharks who are extremely aggressive. Like they are the sharks with the highest amount of testosterone in the blood, so they're very aggressive.
Anyway,
And
so we shot the unicorn with one of Cupid's arrows, and now he likes us.
so yeah, some sharks are actually very aggressive. Like although I think most other races just rather not interact with humans because humans are just not part of their diet.
Yeah, apparently
And
sharks don't like human like they don't like how humans taste. So the only reason like they kill humans is usually due to they bite and then they take off like an arm or something, so it's death from blood loss. And even then, shark deaths per year is something like 5 at tops kind of thing.
I think you have like I think there is a statistic once deaths by being crushed by a vending machine are higher.
Well, yeah, because that's just human stupidity trying to get free pop.
Yeah. There you go, Canadian again.
Yeah. But
I do know like that people are so ignorant about dolphins that they usually get themselves killed by harassing the dolphin. Like occasionally people like they do things like they see the dolphin. Like I heard a story like this. People saw the dolphin on the beach,
mhm.
and they started circling the dolphin. And usually, circling an animal, a wild animal, is not a very wise idea because they're gonna get freaked out. They're
Yeah.
gonna get aggressive, and the dolphin like just rams one of the people. I think it was like
Well,
rams one of the guy surrounding him and just kills the guy because they are very strong.
yeah, I mean, dolphins routinely kill sharks by poking their bellies, but the thing about dolphins that makes them really bad for humans to tangle with is the fact that they are extremely sexually aggressive. Like, we're talking on par with ducks. So that's why you don't want to be around dolphins. Yeah, see, there he is blushing.
You managed to completely change colors. This
Anyway, so even though we brought her a unicorn, that's not good enough. Now we need to get her a hen that lays golden eggs. And thank Christ we don't need to climb a beanstalk for this one. This one's just being kept by an ogre.
Fun fact: we were talking about like if the Queen's Quest was made in Japan, how the age thing would be. You ever played the Fire Emblem 7?
Which one was 7?
The one with 3 protagonists. Before 3 houses, that is.
Uh, I don't know. Was it the Game Boy Advance one?
Yes.
Okay, I played a little bit of it, but I haven't gotten far.
Yeah. The main one of the main characters, Lynn. She's actually 15 in the Japanese version. At the beginning of the story, she's 15 in the
Oh, okay.
original Japanese, and then in the American version, they aged her up to 18, which is funny because the American version is actually the version that introduced the jiggle in the begin for her promoted animation.
Yeah,
Because if you're using one of there's a weapon you receive in the end of the game called it's over.
yeah, it's over.
Yeah, there's a weapon you receive in the end of the game. It's called Sokari, and when she uses that weapon, her boobs bounce. The Japanese version doesn't have that. It was introduced in the American version, American localization, which is what, like, back in the day when localization usually improved things rather than make it worse.
Yeah. But anyway,
But yeah,
I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you all next time. Have a nice night.